September 28th, daylight. The monsters have overtaken the city. Somehow, I'm still alive. My name is Jill Valentine. I'm a former STARS member with Alpha Unit of the now destroyed Raccoon City. Before I had my last chance and my last escape, Umbrella tried to silence me for good by sending a BOW codenamed Nemesis to stalk my every move and to silence me for good. Well, luck would have it, the damn thing kept repeating the word over and over. I gave it just what it wanted. Stars.
Now loading MIcah's Let's Play.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, MIcah Let's Play, and guess who I am? I'm MIcah, because who else would I be? Guys, I am so excited. Today, I'm going to be doing the review for Resident Evil 3 Remake. Oh my god. I had so much fun playing this game. I know this game has a lot of mixed reviews, but today I'm going to shed some light on why this game is amazing, and if you have not played the game, why you should reconsider and purchase Resident Evil 3 Remake. Now, before I jump into this video proper, I'm going to set some ground rules for you guys. I'm going to tell you a little bit of history on the game itself, from the original to the remake, as well as my history with the game and everything else in between. So, let's get started with the history on Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Alright guys, it's our last chance and our last escape. Let's dive into this review. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis came out back in 1999 on the PS1 when I was between the ages of 15 and 16, as you can see here. Guys, I am so excited to tell you about this game because for those of you who don't know, Resident Evil 3 was meant to actually be a spin-off after the massive success of Resident Evil 2. Oh my goodness. The producer at the time, Mr. Hideki, had teamed up with a new developer, Mr. Kazuhiro Aoyama. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. They were working together, and Resident Evil 3 was, like I said, going to be a spin-off, and Hideki was actually going to work on the original Resident Evil 3, where it was basically going to be featuring Hunk, where he was going to be on a cruise line. As you well know, these two games did not get made, but they got made later with Outbreak and Revelations 1. But this game, because of the original Resident Evil 3 had a bunch of issues going on with it, it got bumped up. The 1.9 spin-off got bumped up to Resident Evil 3, and the team decided to make Jill Valentine the star of the game. And oh my god, they made such a fantastic story. The new producer at the time, Mr. Aoyama, decided to bring in new elements into the game, such as the dodge mechanic, the 360 turn, as well as creating your own ammo. Now, in the original Resident Evil 3, the dodging was not that great. It was basically timed based. You had to time the button mash just right to either dodge, muscle through different enemy types, which, if done correctly, looked really cool, but a lot of times you end up getting bit anyway. So it wasn't that great of a mechanic, but it was cool that they thought of it, you know? So kudos for that. And the reason why this game is so important to me is that this is the first Resident Evil game that me and my brother Matthew, also known as MattysonDreamland, oh yeah, right there, his link will also be in the video description. This was the first game that we actually played together after my best friend Corey, right here, played the original Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 1 for us back in the day. Oh my god, I remember this so well. My brother Matthew and I were playing Resident Evil. I was reading the strategy guide. He was playing as Jill. My mom was watching the whole thing as we were trying to survive playing this game. And oh my god, we had a blast. Again, it ignited our passion for Resident Evil. Matthew fell in love, and also, just for those of you who don't know, my brother Matthew's favorite character happens to be Jill, who I am cosplaying right now. Well, I'm not doing that great of a job, but that's neither here nor there. But it made him fall in love with Jill Valentine. Admittedly, I did like her too, though my favorite still is Claire Redfield. I just gotta be honest. But when we played this game together and eventually beat it, it was just such a wonderful experience that we did it together. We had so much fun. And we just never looked back on the franchise. We just kept running to the next game and falling in love with it. And guys, just so you know, Resident Evil 3 was such a huge game that it was the first of the game's franchise to actually land in a movie with Mila Jovovich. And for those of you who don't know, they are actually rebooting the Resident Evil movie franchise. As you can see right here, I already talked about it, so go watch it. Just that simple. But guys, the character Jill Valentine was starred by Sienna Gillian. I hope I'm saying her last name correctly. She's a British actress, and she played as Jill Valentine in the Resident Evil 2 movie called Resident Evil Apocalypse, as I said before, starring Mila Jovovich. Now, in that version, that's how you know the game did so well, because again, it went to Hollywood. Because again, seeing a beautiful woman in a short dress running from a big monster screams Hollywood blockbuster. And so it was. But moving on from the Resident Evil franchise, because we will talk about those movies. Oh yes, we're going to be talking about them. Let's get back to the game. The game's story is very basic, and it's just survival horror and escape from the city while being pursued by an unrelenting monster. And the story itself is absolutely amazing. And in this next section, that's what we're going to talk about. So let's do it. The Resident Evil 3 story is a very simple one to follow. Escape the city and escape the nemesis. And oh my god, it is such a fantastic game as you play as former STARS member Jill Valentine trying to survive the night as you run throughout the streets of Raccoon City, and around every corner is every manner of abomination, from hunters, zombies, zombie dogs, crows, you name it, Raccoon City's got it. And it was just so much fun to play this game, the original, going into the new remake that we got. And again, in my honest opinion, I think the remake, to me, is better than the original. Now, I know that might be blasphemy to a lot of you, but here's why I think that this game, to me, even though it took a lot from the game, from the puzzles and certain areas, which I do dock Capcom for doing that, but here's why I think that the new remake tells a better story than the original. Here's why. From the original game, after you run from your apartment, everything blows up, you leave Dario to his fate, and you run throughout the city of Raccoon. You eventually run into Brad Vickers, who eventually, when you do run into the Nemesis for the first time, basically Brad's career as a yaoi anime character basically begins and ends when he meets the Nemesis. And you are faced the first time with Jill Valentine, and you can either run into the police station or fight the Nemesis. That is really cool, and I think that's one of the greatest reasons why Nemesis is my favorite monster in the entire Resident Evil franchise. But in the remake, of course, your first encounter with Nemesis is very different, and honestly, I really liked it. After you see Jill dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, after dealing with the Spencer Mansion, and then you see her in first-person view, and you see how she is dealing with this, and she's struggling with it, and she's trying to get all her information together so she can bring down Umbrella after, Chris and Barry and Rebecca leave the city. You see what Jill has been up to, and you see how Jill is like, when you read all the different notes, and you see how Jill is like saying, Umbrella's trying to bring her down, they're watching her. And to me, it made the story seem more relatable, it seemed more real, just seeing how this woman, this very incredibly strong woman, is, gonna survive the night. And when you first encounter Nemesis, as you can see, my reaction should tell you my feelings at the moment. Watch the clip. Oh. Holy shit, it's the Nemesis now? Get your gun, holy shit, do we have to fight him now or do we need to run? Jill! Oh my god. Run, Joe! Oh yeah. I was scared shitless, but I did my best to escape the night with Jill. And I have to say, again, seeing the story more fleshed out. Now, again, as I said before, there are a lot of changes that are made. For one, a lot of the puzzles are not in the game anymore. The clock tower is not in the game. You're basically on the outside of it. So basically, it's almost like Capcom teases you with it by saying, oh, here's a pamphlet on the clock tower. But then you never go inside. You basically fight on the outside of the clock tower, which to me wasn't it wasn't a bad fight. Actually, it was quite a fun fight for me, but it changed quite a bit of the story. Then another massive change that was made is that instead of going into the RPD and running from Nemesis, you actually go into the RPD with Carlos Oliveira, and he goes through the RPD running into liquors and everything else, which was pretty cool. And we'll touch on Carlos' glam up in just a second. But seeing these changes being made, again, to me, told a better story. And also, Resident Evil 3 is a lot shorter than the original. Not the original, is a lot shorter than the RE2 remake. But technically, the RE2 remake is actually quite short itself. But again, you get two different character scenarios that you play through. But with Jill, it's a lot shorter and it's way more focused on action than horror, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I was scared every time the Nemesis showed up. My goal was to run from him. And I have been playing the game again, as you can see here. I have been playing the game again. I've unlocked quite a few things, and I've been having a lot of fun, re experiencing this game and understanding the story a bit better. Again, from the files, because I said this when I originally played the game, I want to talk about those files because the files that you get in the game really tell you almost a horror story of what these people are encountering. From the suicide note, from Murphy before he dies, when he starts losing all his weight after he says, I'm not an infected, but he has been infected. It's just incredible. Then when you're in the hospital with Carlos and you're reading all the documents and you're hearing how the nurses are just like horrified at the things they've been experiencing and the mysterious door, it's just, again, the story is just so well told. And I know in the original, you go into more areas, when you go from the rail car to the train and how you have to get the fuel and get the oil and all that stuff. Again, it's really cool, especially when you're dealing with Big Bad Daddy Nemesis, because in the original game, all of his encounters are scripted, but there are some random encounters. As you're going throughout the city trying to find your way around, Nemesis will pop up randomly. And another cool thing about the original is that the game will play certain music, and you'll hear Nemesis, he'll hear its roar, or you'll hear the deep stars as you're walking throughout the city. And it does make you feel like you're being hunted by a really dangerous monster. But in the new remake, everything is 100% scripted. And again, I understand because it's a more linear story and it takes away from, a linear story with elements of being able to explore and kind of do your own thing because the way it's been redone. But again, I think that the developers did a great job with this. Now, let's talk about Carlos Oliveira, or as I like to call him, Sexy Rambo. Now, here's the original Carlos. Yeah, that was the guy we got in the original Resident Evil 3 game. He wasn't a bad character. He was cool, and I loved his line of, all the ladies love my accent. It drives them crazy. It didn't do anything for Jill. She said what I said. Keep dreaming. But anywho, when you see him in the new game, honestly, we can all be honest. They really glammed that man up. They made him sexy and cool, and I really like the new Carlos. I think he's an awesome character, and Capcom, yo, bring our boy back. We need to see some more Oliveira action, okay? We need some more shirtless mods like this one. My God, them mods, let me tell you. But another reason why I also really like the remake is in how they did Carlos, because you get two different versions of him. You get to play as him as he goes throughout the RPD, then you also get to play as him when you're in the hospital. Now, there's one section of the hospital I kind of don't like, which seems a little set piecey. It reminds me of Resident Evil 4 when you're in the cabin and you have to shoot everybody, and that's while Jill is recovering after you give her the serum of the cure so she can be healed. Um, I liked it. It made sense, but honestly, to me it just seemed set piecey, and it didn't really seem. I don't know. It kind of reminded me of Leon running from the alligator in Remake 2. I don't know. I don't really care for that kind of stuff. And to me, it worked once and it worked well in RE4, and it didn't really need to be repeated. But Capcom likes to repeat certain things, and that was one of the things they repeated. But again, playing with Carlos, again, I think they did such a great job on his redesign. His voice actor was amazing. Just again, Carlos, hashtag sexy Rambo. This guy was really cool, and I really liked him in this version of the game versus the original. Now, one thing I will say about the original game, and this is another reason why the original is so near and dear to my heart, the original voice actress to Jill Valentine, her name was Kathleen Disher. Now, Kathleen Disher, for those of you who don't know, was the voice actress to the 90s cartoon show of Jean Grey. When I first heard Jean Grey scream, and then I heard Jill Valentine do the same scream. Now, mind you, this was back during the mid to late 90s, and well, actually the late 90s, and there was no internet. There was web TV, for those of you old enough to remember web TV. I heard that scream of, and I was like, wait a minute, is that Jean Grey's voice actress? My brother looked it up, and we discovered that yes, that was actually Kathleen Disher playing as Jill Valentine, and also Jill Valentine and Jean Grey. For a voice comparison, listen to this.
Right, hun? Just bruised, thanks to you. I have to ask you something.
I know. You want to ask me out? All the foxy ladies love my accent. It drives them crazy.
What? Keep dreaming.
I know. Isn't it awesome? It just makes me so happy because eventually Capcom does do a thing with X-Men versus Street Fighter, but that was later on. But still, I was super excited. I absolutely love this game. I just think it's such a well-told story. And I just think that, especially Jill and Carlos's chemistry in this game, it was pretty cool in the original one. But in this one, I liked it even more because the way it starts off when he tries to put his arm around her, she blocks him. He's like, all right, personal space, I get it. And it's just like, fuck yeah, man. Like, they're just so cool. And I so want them to get together, although I think that it's really in the stars for, Chris and Jill to be together. But I would be okay if Jill became an Vera or Vera became a Valentine. Hey, Jill is a very progressive woman. That could happen. And I'm totally here for it. But guys, I really love this game. I just thought it was so well told. And then when you get to the game's villain, which was Nikolai, and in this version, Nikolai was a silver daddy. He was sexy himself, but he was such an asshole. And oh my god, I was so happy when we got the chance to get him, to shoot him at the end of the game. For those of you who don't know, yeah, we get to shoot his ass. And it was so gratifying, and oh my god, I was so happy to do it, and to escape the city with Carlos was so much fun. But here are some things that I will say that they took from the game that I felt hurt it versus help it. And that is the puzzles. The puzzles and the clock tower and Jill running from the nemesis inside the RPD. Those things being taken from the game, to me, did hurt it when I replayed the game. But I still like the remake versus the original. And again, I know a lot of you may disagree with me. And you're perfectly right. You're perfectly fine for disagreeing with me. Because we're all entitled to our own opinion. But this one is mine. I really love the remake. And I don't understand why it got so much flack. I think the Capcom team that made this, I believe they're the same team that made it's a newer team that actually made the remake, just like in the original, which is actually really cool. And I think they did a bang-up job. Everything. I loved everything. I love hearing Jill's attitude, her no-nonsense, but yet direct kind of attitude, I thought was amazing. I love the fact that we got the dodge back, and it had its own button, because I was a dodging fool, let me tell you. Whenever I saw Nemesis, a zombie dog, or anything, I was trying my damnedest to get around them. The other other part where it came to the part where you fight the drain demos, little bug creatures. Oh my god, that's one part of the game I really don't like. Especially when you see how those things put the parasites in Jill's mouth. Like, oh my god. Again, I know the game was saying, hey, we don't have any tentacle action going on up in here, but that was one bit of tentacle action they could have left out the game, but I digress. But anywho, those are the changes that I felt hurt the game, but a lot of the changes that they made, especially with the story, I just felt were really good. I think Capcom just did such a good job with this game. If you have not played this game, I've dropped some spoilers in here, but this game is just so good. It's just so well told. And one of the other things that I think was a massive upgrade were the Hunter Gammas. Those Hunter Gammas and the Hunters in general, their redesign, yes, I'm so here for it. Even though the Hunter Gammas were one-hit kill kind of monsters, but still, their recreation to the game was amazing. I totally love it, and I think that, when you get the chance to play the game and you experience it for yourself, again, it's a very linear game with not much opportunities to explore on your own. Again, I just think it was really well put together. Like I said, from the story, I hate to repeat myself, but that story was just so well told. And Claire, and Jill and Carlos's interactions were so cool. And one other thing that the original game did that the newer game didn't do was the live selection, which was also a thing that, in my opinion, kind of hurt it, but the way the live selection was in the original game, it really didn't change that much except for the ending or allowing you to go to completely different areas. And I know a lot of you might be like, Micah, that sounds better than the remake. Hear me out. When I play the game, I always play it where I get Barry at the end of the original of RE99 RE399 versus RE3R, and Barry's not even in this one. But again, even the lab, when you go into Ness and you see all the tyrants and you hear Jill say, "These are tyrants," I just love it. I'm so here for it. I love all Jill's interactions with Nemesis. I love the Nemesis fights when you do take him on. Nemesis is just a man. He's a force of nature unto himself, and he makes Mr.X seem like nothing. Again, I'm still very scared of Mr.X, but when you learn his mechanics and you learn how to get around him, Nemesis, it makes X seem like nothing, because Nemesis can jump, run, come after you. He can use his tentacle and pull you to him. He can beat the hell out of you. He can even do this roar that if you're not too careful, he can stun you and then attack you. And just, oh my god, I'm telling you, I'll have PTSD after fighting Nemesis in RE3. But guys, I'm telling you, RE3 Remake is definitely worth the playthrough. I had so much fun playing it. I have you had a lot of fun playing it. But now I'm going to wrap this review up and I'm going to give you my final thoughts and my grade on this review. So let's do it. Okay, guys, I know this review was a little all over the place, but that's kind of how I felt when I was playing the game. I felt a little all over the place, but I really, really like it. I just think it was such a great game, and my honest opinion, I give it an A. I know a lot of people would give it a lower grade because they changed so much about the game, but what we got was just amazing. What we got, I'm not gonna lie, I'm so here for it. I almost liked it better than the remake of RE2R, but after playing both of them again, I still like RE2R a little bit better. But I really like the remake of Resident Evil 3. I think it's just a great game. Jill is fantastic. And for those of you who don't know, that was technically supposed to be the first Let's Play on this channel. But due to things happening and the world crisis happening oddly during the release of Resident Evil 3 Remake, this is just what happened. I ended up playing RE2R first. And if you guys have not seen my Let's Play of RE2R or RE3R, go check them out. I think they're pretty darn good, though they are hilarious. Mind you, my RE2R replay, the first few episodes are a little crunchy, so I apologize about that. But those of you who have watched it or will watch it, I hope you enjoy. And leave me comments on those playthroughs. I would love to hear from you guys. But with all that said, guys, before I close this video out proper, I want to do some shout outs to a few people who have been pouring love on my channel and have been within the Resident Evil community that I respect immensely. First, that goes to the spear hunter herself, Susie. Oh yes, she actually watched one of my videos and left me a comment, and she's been so instrumental to helping me, improve my channel by watching her playthroughs or watching her content. Again, Susie, if you're ever watching this, girl, I love you. You are just wonderful. You're a spark of light to the Resident Evil community, and I'm so here for you. So I'm gonna have a link to her video description, so go check her out. She's absolutely fabulous. The second person I want to shout out is Beggy Beg Beg. Oh my God, I love this woman so much. I think she is such a wonderful woman. She does great in-depth analysis on Resident Evil, and hearing that woman read poetry from William Blake literally gave me chills. Yes, girl, you gave this man chills just by hearing you read. She has such a lovely voice. Go check her out. Her link will be in the video description. Beggy Beg Beg Beg, I love you. She's such a great lady. And she's also a partner with the Residents of Evil channel, so go check them out. I love JJ. They have great content on their channel. Link to their channel as well, so go check them out. And last but certainly not least, my boy Adam. Adam has been such a sweet person. I recently ran into He has been pouring love on my channel and pouring love on my social media, and we have just been having great conversations these past couple of days and past couple of weeks, and I'm so here for him. He's such a great person. He actually did something really special for my channel that I'm about to show you guys right now. He actually did a little animation with my head on Jill's body, and it's absolutely hilarious. He made it. All I did was put my voice to it, but this guy is incredible. He's a wonderful British guy. Go check him out. I'll have a link to his Twitter account as well as his Discord, so check him out. Wonderful person. But with all that said, here's the clip.
Stars.
Come on, you creepy ass stalker. You want stars? I'll give you stars. Oh yeah, I've been dying to say that line. Ah, my goodness. But with all that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun putting it together. I hope you enjoy watching it. So, with all that said, if you enjoyed any of this content, please do me a favor by considering liking this video, subscribing to my channel, leaving me a comment in the comment section down below, hit the notification bell so you're always notified when I'm surviving horror with the sexiest of the stars member, Jill Valentine. Then guys, do me another favor by considering washing your hands, wearing a mask, using gloves, practicing social distance, using hand sanitizer, giving everyone love and respect, because that's how you get it back in return. Remember, on this channel, we live, think, and dream big. All Black Lives Matter. I'm going to see you on the flip side. Hallelujah, the elections are over. I will see you later, so bye. Wink.